What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today I'm going to show you guys my team that I used to fight the Dawnplan Stellar Challenge Stage 13. The stage that has the infinite HP that is used to track the points for, well, the leaderboard really, that has some quite interesting rewards in there. And obviously this is a big competition as many players wanna get those things. This essentially buffs your own campaign auto battle drops, which of course includes stuff like Grimoire DT, all the good stuff, by 23%. It's quite substantial, stacking on top of the senior privilege card and everything. Pretty good. And then what's also very interesting is the drop for the guild. By 11% you can increase your guild members campaign drops, and then we have this one here as well for the server, which I thought was pretty fancy, so we're going to see that. And obviously people are now fighting around this, and for that you need a very good team to fight stage 13, because the way those points are tracked is essentially, it's a sum of all your attacks. So it's very important to, on the one hand, attack very consistently. You want to attack every single day, because every single fight will essentially increase the cost of battle. So you have a few fights at 1 cost, then you go up to 2, then to 3, then to 4, then to 5, meaning if you start at day 1 and you did a ton of attacks, I saw some people hit 12 emblems cost per fight. This is obviously not what you want, considering this event lasts a whole month. So you would be running out by day 3 or something, while the people can enjoy way more attacks by just consistently pacing their attacks throughout the month. But that being said, you still need a team. You're fighting 3 bosses, 2 of them being Vespera, 1 of them being Alikita, and this is of course something that comes with some specials that we want to focus on. They also seem to have some hidden traits akin to them that we can't really see, so a few things to note. We can watch a fight maybe right now. This is the team that I am using, and it's quite cool because we are able to use like normal heroes in there. We have Wraec, we have Olivia, we have Heartwatcher, so that works out fairly well. And then we see some very familiar faces. We have SQH and we have LFA in there, and this time around I also used Vespera. Obviously pretty high power team. It is necessary, I have to say that. The first really big thing that I discovered during the fight, or actually I didn't even discover that one. I was told to try it by a guild member, so I have to give credit there where it's due. Was Wraec. Wraec is actually OP for this. Wraec is absolutely insane because Wraec has an ability that is called Defense Down. It is there symbolized by this broken shield that is on Alikita. It will always be on Alikita because Alikita is the lowest HP hero in this battle. And this removes all of her defenses, meaning damage reduction, all damage reduction, block, even dodge, and will make it very easy for us to deal damage. She seems to have either damage reduction or all damage reduction to quite a big amount, and on top of that, I saw some people also complaining about the dodge. We mainly take care of all of this just by using Wraec. When I first started doing this, I think my damage was increased by 15 times or something just by adding Wraec to the team, which is obviously an absolute insanity. It's absolutely ridiculous. So this one definitely a must-have. I don't know if you need him E5. Maybe we can check this out after the video. I don't know. You just have to see if it's the defense down. Defense down should remove 100% of all stats. I think at 9-star or 10-star this is enough. One of these two. That should work. Then of course Heartwatcher, Olivia. Heartwatcher marks tend to be purified, but still in my testing it seems to be often enough that they don't get purified that it makes it so Heartwatcher is a very nice way to increase your damage here. Olivia obviously is a skill effect that can't be purified, thus being a very nice way, but it's a little bit of RNG. Obviously you need the Olivia debuff to land on the Alikita to actually increase your damage. If it lands on one of the Vesperas, that is not very nice. Also, I mean, it is already made kind of obvious by us being able to use Wraec on Alikita, but also the Vesperas aren't really good targets for your attacks with LFA because they have an ability, I think it's called Mesmerize, that will reduce the damage heroes deal to them all of the heroes with the little hearts here will deal to them. So there is a damage multiplier that works against us there if we attack them. So we obviously want to attack Alikita. Then we see a lot of our modifiers, of our buffs are removed. That is something that is rather annoying. During this fight, we often will have like barely any buffs. Usually if you go for Flame Shrine, you will see like 120 attack buffs or something crazy like that. You can see the end card here. We have 18 damage reduction buffs over there. Not really anything crazy. So what you really want to do is you kind of want to move like at least your SQH and the Vesperer ahead and have them attack before LFA attack so that you can add some buffs to them. And then also, especially if you go, and we are going to talk a little bit about some skills in a second, with the infusion for the imprints, and you use the minus crit one, then especially you want to have your Vesperer, your SQH attack before LFA to provide him with some crit. And also, of course, in this case, you want to use Phoenix and you want to try to profit from that crit one. Nonetheless, you will always be in the situation where, you will face very, very big fluctuations in damage. We had 1.5 E+18 here. I didn't really struggle with survivability, though on a small account that might be the case. And of course, this all being newer heroes, they have a little bit more depth to them than the older ones had, especially if we could take a look back at fights against something like Barrier or something in Flame Shrine. This is quite an upgrade to that. But we can maybe do like 2-3 attempts so that you can see that there is like this variance in the damage. 1.5 E+18 was the last one. I have seen as low as 2 E+17 and as high as 6 E+18. So 6 E+18 was the highest one so far. 2.16 E+18. So very, very solid attack, but it can really just drop down to 3+17 if the buffs don't really hit or something. We also have a lot of debuffs. Maybe we can use this one to kind of show that they remove the attribute buffs, not only with the active skill of the IEA, but also just seemingly at the end of the turn. A lot of them get removed. We see this quite often. Well, this is a very good attempt, at least at the start. And then we have CC as well. So they do have CC, and it can be quite devastating. So I usually take like Control Purify here, despite us obviously having like multiple debuffs there. But you can take care of that as well with like Spectre. And that will also give you basically attribute reduction purify for free. So that's already pretty nice. On top of that, will not remove everything, but some stuff like speed reduction, damage reduction removed or something that just doesn't matter. It's not too important. So let's see what this comes out to. Yeah, 6.5 E+17. We had the good start. Apparently we didn't have the good end. So that is just something you have to live with. Through all of those, the Purify RNG, through all of the Purify RNG on the boss as well. Like do they remove the Heart Watcher buff just before our active skill hits, stuff like that. It will just turn out to be like a big variance that you have in there. But I think hitting like 2 E+18 will overall work out. I didn't put too much effort behind this. I didn't use too many attacks. You can see I'm at 860. Yes, I lost a little bit, and I certainly did a few more on some days to compensate for me not doing one on others. But like this lack of consistency and still being able to hit into the top 8, but that should probably show that this is like a pretty decent team overall. I'm of course also going to show you the preset for this, so we can take a look at that. Wraec. Over here we have Olivia's, nothing really too fancy on them. I didn't really bother to take care of speed or anything for them because it is really not too important. We have the PvE rule in place here as far as I've seen it, so we will attack before the enemy attacks, which is just the normal way actually things work. It's interesting. I have to kind of divert from the topic here for a second. Some of those things that used to be like very, very fixed rules really got broken up by the age. The PvE rule was usually you attack and then the enemy attacks. And this is true for a big part of the game. But really in Void Campaign they said, oh, makes it kind of easy to fight the enemies, so we break it up, we give them speed, and then to the extent that you can't even beat the speed anymore, now they are faster than you. And this is really something they brought with Void Campaign and Force War. Very, very weird. But certainly something that spiked up the difficulty quite a lot. So, Heart Watcher, Wraec, and like Olivia, I wouldn't really bother unless they die. So mine didn't die, mine don't struggle with dying here, so I just kept them as is, not really with too much setup. Artifact I'm using right here is Spiritual Mirror Splendid. That is the deific version of the mirror. Doesn't provide too many good perks. The thing with mirror always is, and that is a very nice advantage, and that is why I now use it in Flame Shrine as well. As soon as you fight energy drain, which we do with the likes of Espera, it can happen that your heroes just don't get an active skill. And if you run a Demon Bell, you get quite severely punished for that, because a Demon Bell will always say, hey, this only activates when your hero attacks. It will always say that. That is a deific Demon Bell. When the hero releases active skill. So then we increase energy. If the hero doesn't release active skill but basic skill, we don't get anything. So to kind of give us a better consistency, I always go with Mirror now. Because Mirror doesn't provide the same extent of energy feed. Yes, there might be a few turns that you just don't get your active skill, but overall I found that I will get more rounds with an active skill, and on top of that, of course, in the mirror itself, we not only have active skill, we have a little bit of HP restoration, okay. We also have all damage dealt increase, we have a control immunity increase, we have a damage reduction increase, and that of course is double for holders of the mirror, so it's quite nice because we get like the double control immunity on all of our heroes, so that is why I run them. And also of course for the heroes that need to be a little bit faster, if you have the deific version of the mirror, they add 100 speed. So that is quite substantial, that is rather nice and will help you, and we have 20% flat control immunity in here as well, so that is pretty good. But just those 3 heroes. Maybe we quickly take the check here, let us take a look. So the 10-star defense down. 10-star already has the 100% defense down, but I'm pretty sure the 9-star does as well. I'm pretty sure this ability is upgraded on 9-star, and thus you only would need a 9-star Drake to actually put him in this team. Can't 100% confirm right now, unless we quickly build a Drake. Yeah, so you can see 6-star Drake, not enough, has the defense down with the 70%, but if we go ahead and quickly upgrade this Drake to 9-star, won't take very long. You can see one ability gets upgraded over here, and then we have this one, we have a 6-star here as well, so this is to 8-star. 8-star? My god, I haven't upgraded anything to 8-star in like 1,000 years. And here we get the really important upgrade, defense down 70% in the level 2 version of the ability, and then becomes 100% there in the level 3 version. So we're going to build this Drake right now because I said that we built it. And this is like the service you get only in the Wraec video. Me building 9-star Drake just to check that. And of course for that, it always helps if you check out the link in the description. Let me talk about that for a second right now. So with the link in the description, you will find SG Hub, the Discord server SG Hub. And there you can buy Starry Gems. But the thing is, you can't buy Starry Gems there for the prices that you see in game, because those are ridiculous. Those say you get like the Pink Starry here for 2,500, Pink Starry for 114.99 here in Germany at least. For you it may be 100 USD, which is crazy. You don't really want that. But on SG Hub, you can get this way cheaper. In fact, for the 100 USD on that you spent in game on SG Hub, you would get 10,000 Starry Gems. 10,000 Starry Gems rushed right there. That is your Aspen A-, that is whatever you want A-, and that will help your account quite a lot. Or it's a big event that you can go for and just get a lot of the packs if you want to have that. That will also be very, very nice. And of course, there will always be the best prizes over there and the best servers, which is even more important. So if you want to support me and my videos, then definitely check out SG Hub, and let's get to the rest of this video. So yeah, 9-star Drake definitely enough if you don't have an E5, as long as he survives, of course. And then we have like Olivia and Heartwatcher, those you definitely want to upgrade. And then we come to SQH and Vespera. So SQH, I do have like a fairly strong copy here. The silence immunity probably doesn't help me at all. So it's not like you need an SSD or anything like that. That is not really necessary. We do have the highly upgraded one here. In fact, I do have enable infusion on her, which we don't really use. I have to say that. we wouldn't really need that. The only thing that I really use right here is the extra speed that it gives me. The rest of this is rather unimportant and has nothing to do with the build. The only thing that you have to remember is control purifier will probably be better for most cases, as we throw around quite a lot of CC in this fight. Thus you also want to get for the support heroes into control immunity. For the most part, if you can't survive, then you need the damage reduction. And other than that, you don't really need anything. Like, you need the control immunity. Maybe you go damage reduction if you have struggle surviving. And the rest of it for the support heroes is not too important. If you still have struggle surviving, then you go with block, obviously. And that's really it for that. For the SQH, full sublimations and everything. And for the upgrades, I went with active skill over here. Increase allies' energy, because kind of to counter the energy drain from Vespera a little bit. This can help. The other two are also not too great. This one helps a little bit if you struggle with surviving, but yeah, I doubt it's going to be that good. This one, yeah, kind of sucks, and so I went with the energy, which in my opinion is the best. And then you have some things that you want to go for. It's a little bit, we want to have different debuffs on the enemy. So we have different options here. We either go for the reduced speed, which honestly I like more seeing it now, because we already have reduced backline, reduced enemy attack with LFA. So we can go with reduced speed here. Yeah, we go reduced speed. Always good to look over your setup, so that we have reduced attack from LFA, then we have reduced speed from her, so that there are different things that they have to purify. And the more things you have on an enemy that they can purify, the tougher it is for them to hit the things that you kind of want to protect with it. So in that case, that would be a Heart Watcher mark. So we make it easier for the Heart Watcher mark to stick by diversifying our debuffs that we put on the enemy. In this case, we put speed, we put attack debuffs on them, and that is something that they might purify instead of our Heart Watcher mark. And same goes for this one. Crit damage reduction, again another debuff. And then I went with speed over here. You can go with the restoration or something. Speed always helps me to stay ahead of my LFA. So that is why I went for that. Vespera, we'll save one time. Vespera kind of looks very similar. Not too fancy, really. Stone on the support doesn't matter. Speed stone probably for you to stay ahead of the enemy. I just had different ones equipped, different enables equipped on the SQH because I can survive anyway, so I could take a little bit more damage from just having like a little bit more offensive enables on her. Same here for the imprints as for SQH, and then we can go into the Destiny transition. Destiny transition, of course, active skill again here. Then we have increased backline allies holy damage. There's also energy in here. It's something you probably have to check out a little bit. I went for the holy damage this time. I think it grants me a little bit more damage. But the energy increase can of course also help if you struggle to kind of cope with the energy drain that the Vesperas put on you. And then we have all damage that increase for the ally with the highest attack, which is my LFA, which is nice. We take it. It's a little bit of a nice buff. Other than that, we would have gone probably for the reduced armor. And then we have this one, which is kind of fancy. The other two, I didn't really like it. This is again an attack reduction. We already have that. HP restoration we don't really need. And this one reduces the effect of being hit of one enemy with the lowest HP, which is the Alekita. Just happens to be the Alekita. So we can put reduced effect of being healed there, which is really nice. And then we have increased self-speed again on the Vespera, which I actually think I need that, right? We have 3204 on here. And I think on the LFA... it was 3223. Yeah, he's actually a little bit faster. And that is already without home. We have no heroes in the residence for my LFA whatsoever. In fact, that is kind of an interesting thing. Residence for me has gotten so weak, and for you it might not be the case, but if you have a ton of Grimoire, a ton of Train, then Residence in comparison becomes so weak that you can remove it without harming your heroes too much. It cost me like 30k attack or something. It's like absolutely doesn't matter, but this provides like 200 speed. It provides a ton of speed, Resonance, compared to the attack right now. The ratios of this have been utterly altered. You now have a way easier time obtaining attack and HP than speed. Resonance provides a ton of speed. This is actually now the main value of that in endgame. It's no longer the attack and the HP. In early to mid game, it is the attack and HP, but later on, really only the speed. So I removed that because the speed actually harms me in this one, as it makes it more tough to position my LFA in a way that is like good for my team. There's a skin on here. Obviously, there's a skin. Just assume that when I show a hero, there's the full upgraded skin on there. We have the role, of course, max attack, 30,900 soul power, 11,900 attack. We have skill damage, we have the Hunter's Focus, Defier, Giant Killer, Body Protection. Skill-wise, looks a little bit weird. We actually go for 74.8% crit on here, which, no shoes, because it just provides speed, holy damage, skill damage. Breath of the Forest Spirit, Glittery, I always get asked for this. This is the Deific Antlers Cane, and it's only upgraded to Glittery because the further upgrades up to Splendid actually only increase the all damage reduction it provides, and I don't need that. My LFA survives either way. It's the biggest hero on the board usually, so I don't need the all damage reduction. The all damage dealt is actually the same on Glittery and on Splendid, so there is no difference. So you're perfectly fine if you just want the damage from it to leave this on Glittery and save yourself a few Deific artifacts. So that is just one thing. Obviously here the enable infusions do matter. We go for the Grimoire infusion, which will cap out our precision on the hero. Then we have lethal fight back for bigger damage. Control Purify on him too, which kind of sucks. I really would like to go with the attribute reduction Purify, but there isn't really a good way with the current setup. Obviously, and again, same Grimoire infusion, and then sadly we can't use the percent below 50%. So there's extra damage if the enemy is below 50%. Doesn't work here, as they are never below 50%, but yeah, would be great. Crit, holy damage, crit damage at the moment. We do lack a little bit of crit damage. Yeah, kind of low. But yeah, it's okay. Full sublimation, obviously, and then we have Destiny Transition. I hope there's nothing wrong in here. Didn't check this before. Yeah, obviously we go for the higher damage version, which is the 1500%. And then we have reduce target's attack, armor, or speed. So this time we have armor on here. He natively reduces attack, so you don't want to choose the attack unless you can't survive. You want to choose one of the other two. We removed speed already with SQH, so we go with armor on this one. We can actually use this one. There is a fail in here. I was so sure that there is a fail in here. It will never be less than 50%. So this is 400% more attack. Yep. That is bad. The wrong one equipped here. Yeah, this is still because I overrode my Flame Shrine setup. Yeah, and Flame Shrine is actually also no longer the better one. It's also this one. We find out things here, and then increase all damage dealt. We obviously don't really want to restore anything. We don't really want to increase our speed, so we stick with all damage dealt. Yeah, and that is really it. Phoenix and enable infusion we can probably still take a look at. Phoenix, I kind of regret changing him a little bit. Because Phoenix had this thing in here, he had like his upgrade, which kind of sucked. After heroes are healed by monsters when they release basic attacks or active skills, targets with burn, increase crit for the damage dealt this time by 30%. Effect lasts for 3 rounds. So the crit increase, that kind of sucked, and then you really wanted to remove it. And so I also removed like this one. This one, if you upgrade it, gives you crit. So I took this out. And now I'm kind of thinking about upgrading this again and putting this back in and getting the crit back. Just because we are running actually a very specific enable infusion right here. In a very specific imprint infusion, which is this one I'm running right now. Reduce self crit by 50%, increases self attack by 50%, which means we kind of need to get crit back. And we are mostly doing that through this path here, which provides 3.3% crit there. And then we have a little bit of an increase of crit over here. And the last one is for every 2 crits landed, you deal like a ton of extra damage. So this one provides us with extra crit that we desperately need because we need sources of that. And then we have like some of the cheaper things. So the thing with this skill tree is you can always equip like a full branch. And if you go for the middle node on the branch right next to it, this is fairly cheap. Because this only requires you to get 4 extra skill points and then you can get something like this. Target's armor higher than itself additionally deals 1000% holy attack damage. We do have this one, which provides us with energy. Every active skill basically gives us a layer of purity, and per layer we get 7 energy when releasing our basic. So this isn't actually too bad. I thought this would be pretty bad, but this is actually 28 energy. It's quite nice. Then we have the purify one over here. Yeah, the other one is damage, so that is about it. And yeah, ton of skill points, obviously. If you want, I wouldn't necessarily go for the crit one first. I thought this would be like really good, but it's like really, really difficult to do. So it's easier to go for some flat damage, like the green one or some of the red ones, instead of immediately going in there. And putting this all together, we can once attack Dawnplan and check this out. I tried some other support heroes in there. Started off with Star Alchemist Tom Young actually, but didn't really work out too well for me. In fact, also I think during my last stream, we tried removing like Heart Watcher and tried adjusting a few things, didn't really work out. Also, maybe the question could come up with Madeline. Madeline against this boss would in theory be great if we didn't use Drake. But Drake is better than Madeline for the specific purpose of just removing all of the defenses from a boss. And as we already are going towards removing defenses from this boss, and he has so much, it's better for us to just use Drake instead of Madeline. And Madeline actually does worse than Vespera. Same goes for Star Alchemist Tom Young, which I tried. Yeah. And then maybe was also an interesting topic. We can skip to the end for that. We get good damage. Horribly bad. That is sad. But also Star Souls. We do have the Nova, just to put some burn on the enemies. It could be replaced in theory. And then we have, of course, the Tentacle Star Soul just to add some dodge to our heroes, which helps us avoid a few of the Alekita hits. And then, obviously, Spectre on the LFA. Let's do like 3-4 more and then end the video, because I've already yapped a ton. 26 minutes. I think we haven't really done like a team guide like this in quite a while. I find it quite cool. That's honestly, that's a pretty decent hit. 3.1 E+18. That's a very, very nice hit actually. Yeah, with those are the hits with which you can really catch up. So you can see the team works. The team brings us some really good numbers. 2.3 E+18. And I wouldn't say it's consistent, but at least it provides a meaningful, a decent amount of hits with upper damage numbers. So it's not like you have like high roll, low roll, high roll, low roll. You at least have like a 1 E+18 with the stats that I have. Usually. And you have like the E+17 when you want to show it. Like if I talk too much about this being E+18 guaranteed, then this is going to be E+17. Predictions, guys. Predictions. I can see it. I can see it. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to show you guys about this. Of course, if you guys found something, and I don't even want to say I found the best team ever. But that is literally impossible. There's so many heroes now in the game. And obviously there's always this little piece of tech that you might forget, especially if we have all the old heroes within there. Like sometimes you just forget to think about something like Drake. Because it just... You are not used to thinking about using it. Now I only get E+17. That's a shame. You're not used to using something like this. And of course, if you found like a very, very great tactic, if you think that can beat my team, I'm happy to test it. Just, well, post it on Discord maybe. That's probably easier if you go to the Idle Heroes channel on my Discord server. You can of course post your lineups there. See if that is maybe better. If you have like such a great tip for a hero, we can always discuss this or try it out, and then we'll see what works and what doesn't. So that is always a good thing. Other than that, I would be very happy if you would hit the subscribe button. I hope for the people that celebrate Christmas that you had some very nice festive days now and celebrated quite well. I have to say I personally did. I was quite happy. Well, until my heating broke, but that's okay now again, so that was fixable, happily. But now I hope that you enjoy the rest of the days, and with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.